Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests.
Yay!
That's why I'm up here. A couple of years ago, I was working with this Spanish guy. He's lived in England for more than 20 years. He speaks fantastic English. But when he speaks, he goes, ara, ara. Every time he opens his mouth, he will say, ara. Have to think about that. Ara. It's a good idea. Ara. Don't know. Ara. We'll have to see. Ara. Ara. So bad that his work colleagues call him the Ara Ara man. And I found this was really weird. I spoke to him in Spanish just to see, do you Ara Ara in Spanish? And he doesn't. So I'm thinking, where is this Ara Ara coming from? And the Toastmasters hat went on, and I started thinking, fillers. What filler words are going on here? And I worked it out. He was saying ah, ah, running it together, Spanish style, ara. So he invented a new filler word. And I asked his colleagues, has anyone ever mentioned it to him? Of course not. Of course not. They'd complain about it, but they wouldn't say a word to him. So I decided I was going to do something about this. So we were on a business trip, and afterwards we stopped for a drink. So I went straight up to him and I said, why do you ara when you speak? Now this could have gone really bad. He stopped, looked at me and he said, do I? He had no idea he was ara ara every time he spoke. And then he said, I do. Ah. Oh. Now this really strange thing is, I'm not going to pat myself too much on the back, the following week the amount of aras declined to the point where the end of the week, the Friday, no more aras. And everyone, where's the aras gone to? Everyone was so used to saying aras that it wasn't there. So I asked him directly, Mario, what happened to the aras that you were using all the time? And he said, I thought about it. I surfaced it in my consciousness, thought about why I was doing it, and stopped. Simple as that. So you might be asking, why am I telling you this story? Well, you know the answer. You've heard it this evening already. Not very contentious about that. The amount of ums and ahs that people throw into their conversation, into their speeches, when they don't need to. And I believe if we can take these ums and ahs and make them conscious, we can get rid of them. Maybe we won't have 100%, but that's the aim of this evening, is to try and get them out. So I'd like you all to stand up a minute. I want you to try something with me. I want you to say ums and ahs and ahs and ums. You won't get far if you ums and ah. Try it. Ums and ahs and ahs and ums. You won't get far if you and ahs. Take a seat. Now hold that, because when you're going, I'm going to try and get every one of you to come up and do a table topics later. And I want you to think, before you come up, about the ums and ahs, to try and not do it. Okay? That's the first goal. Now the second goal is, well, if I want you to stop doing these ums and ahs, how are you going to get better at doing table topics? So I'm going to offer you a few tips that I've learned on my journey that I'm going to share with you that you can try out. What's the difference between a novice speaker and a really experienced one when it comes to table topics? Well, you imagine, I can see them now. Table topics is going to ask a question, and you're doing this, looking away, don't want, no, not giving me eye contact, making sure that I don't ask you a question. And then as soon as I pick someone else, then do see you and do ask you the question. And it's interesting, because it happened to me, it was almost like a light bulb goes, and your whole body goes into shock. And your legs start going, and your heart, and you start to walk to the front. Now, I don't know if you've ever watched the film The Green Mile, where they're taking the poor chap to be executed. Well, it feels like that, and your shreds get longer. And eventually you arrive here, and you're so nervous that the words don't come out, because you're so nervous. Take the opposite when you have an experienced speaker. Same situation, ask questions. They're looking at you. They want to be asked. They want to know the question. And they get disappointed if you don't ask them. So when you do finally ask an experienced speaker a question, they're going, have I heard this before? Do I know it? They're looking at their memory banks. Right, I'm relaxed, I'm cool. Yep, got it. And they walk up here, and they thank the topics master, and they're good to go. And they deliver a great speech. So here's my first tip for you. You can write this down if you want to. And it's something that helped me to conquer table topics. And it's this. You can always answer a question, even if you don't know the answer. And I'm thinking, what? Suppose you were asked the question, E equals mc squared. Discuss. Well, I'm sure one or two of you know that that's Einstein's, or part of his special theory of relativity, and you know that E equals energy, and it's when you multiply it by the speed of light times 2, you get mass, so it's converted one into the other. You know that, right? Well, if you don't, you might answer like this. Do you know, I went to a really terrible school. I mean, I'm talking terrible. In the first year, my art teacher was stabbed with a chisel. Oh, that's how bad it was. We had these two guys in my class who, they weren't at the time, but they turned into be mass murderers. Serious. And then don't talk about the teachers. They were absolutely appalling. Well, they had no chance really, because do you see how you can answer the question? Even if you don't know the answer? You do not have to answer the question directly. You can go around it. And you can say, well, I can't answer that question because I don't know the answer, but I can give you a reason why I don't know the answer. You're still answering the question. Right? So if I ask you a question this evening, you have no excuse to tell me that you can't answer the question, because you can. Right? Next thing was, well, that's all really pretty good, Pedro. Thanks for that. What else can we do? So at the back here, I have one of my favourite speakers, Paul Carroll. Give him a round of applause. Paul, I've known Paul for many years, and he is a terrific table topic speaker. Paul, tonight is not the night to let me down, please. We recently had table topics competition, which means it started at club level, then it went to the area level, then it went to division level, then it went to district level. Paul placed second in that competition. I think that deserves it. So some time ago, I asked Paul, what does it take to become good at doing table topics? Practice. That's all he said. Practice. You know, sometimes when someone gives you a bit of advice and it's just not what you wanted? That was that. I wanted more than just practice. But that's what he gave me. And it took me a while to work out, what do I do with that word practice? How do I make it a reality? Well, internet. I stumbled across table topics questions on the internet. Just typed in table topics questions, and I was deluged with the amount of questions. And what I did was, I downloaded them onto my smartphone. 100 questions I've got on here, and these are the questions I'm going to be asking you when I switch this thing on a bit later on. And what I did was, walking down the street, now everyone's on their phones or their earphones now, so I just pick a question and just answered it, walking down the street. Another question, answer it. Another question, answer it. And then I got a colleague at work who was feeling sorry for me. We would go out at lunchtime, and she would ask me questions from my phone, and I would answer them, and so on. And that's way you can get better, and you can do the practice that we were talking about. Okay? The third one is something I already told you about. The last time I did a workshop, I told you about PrEP. Do you remember PrEP?
Yeah.
Those of you who were not here, PrEP is an acronym, means a way of making your speech. P stands for proposition, R for reason, E for example, back to proposition. So anytime someone asks you a question, you say, I believe the answer is going to be this. And this is my reason. Here's a couple of examples, and wrap it up with your proposition. Okay? So, we're going to start the table topics session in a second, but before, let's just recap. Note, no matter what question anyone throws at you, you can always answer it. Okay? Second, if you want to get good at table topics, practice. But practice intelligently. Download 100 questions, put them on your smartphone, go and play around with them, get a colleague to teach them with you.